Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob from LearnBridge.nyc, and here are the hands that we had the most questions on from the Thursday game. And this game is held right here in New York City on Thursday mornings from 9:15 to noon. So when you play in the game, you get to experience these hands. And then not only do I answer as many questions as I can during the session, but afterwards you get this video of the big hands from the morning session and the ones we had the most questions about. So if you want to play these hands and you're not in New York, just shoot me an email at rob@learnbridge.nyc and I can send you a copy of these hands that you can play anytime between the time I send them to you and Thursday evening. And then you'll get this nice video at the end to kind of go over some of the key hands that I'm sure if we're having a lot of questions here, you're going to have a lot of the same questions out there. So before we jump in, I just want to announce that my next seminar here in New York is going to be on Sunday, December 9th, right at Honors Bridge Center in New York City. And this is going to go from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I'm calling it my tournament prep seminar. And don't worry, if you're not planning on playing tournaments, this is still useful for you because it's going to show you not only how the game is scored, but why we should make decisions based upon an understanding of the actual scoring of the game. We'll also cover common director's rulings and when you're faced with choices, which ones are the best ones to choose. And on top of that, we're going to do some team events. In fact, we're going to have a fun mini team game in the first half of the session. And we're going to just introduce you to how you play a little differently. And after you're done with your little team match, how you will actually be able to score that. It's a useful skill. And to be honest, team games are by far the most fun events that you'll find at any regional, national, sectional tournament. They're just a whole bunch of fun, and it's a good way for four people to play some bridge, earn way more master points at tournaments, and just have a whole bunch of fun playing with four people instead of just two. And also, for those of you watching outside of New York, if you want to get any updates or even my students here in New York, whenever I post anything to my site or to YouTube, I automatically send a tweet. So if you want to follow that, you'll get the update on when things are coming out digitally. And you can find me on Twitter at @BridgeTeacher. So let's jump into the hands from this Thursday. Number one, and I want to start as south, and then we'll kind of work our way around the table and see what we would do with each of these hands. But if you bid a diamond with this south hand, you missed an opportunity. Or if you bid a heart, you also missed that same opportunity. And we have a perfect bid for this hand, and it's the unusual two-note trump. So when we're in the overcall position, the opponents open a suit, or even when they open one-note trump, the bid of two-note trump shows the two lowest ranking unbid suits. So our right hand opponent has actually made the perfect opening bid for our shape. Right? They open a club, and we have both of the lowest ranking suits, diamonds and hearts. Right? They already bid clubs, so that's excluded. So the suits we get to show here. So the bid of two no trump is going to show diamonds and hearts, and we know both suits, so the north player knows that south has both of these suits, at least 5-5. State, trust me, I have punished my partners terribly by making these off-shape 2-no or Michael's bids where they're hoping I have the correct shape and I don't. So apologies to those partners and take it from me. It's best to be 5-5 in every spot, right? So just take that to the bank. Always be 5-5 when you're making a two-suited bid. So now I'm sitting in the West chair, same auction, right? My partner opened a club and righty bid two no trump, showing diamonds and hearts. And I have not a very good hand, but I certainly have a heck of a spade suit, right? I have ace 10, 9, 7 of spades, and I'm facing a partner that has opened the bidding. So there are ways to actually show good hands. And for those of you that are looking at this and maybe are a little more experienced, you might be familiar with unusual over unusual, right? So in this spot, over a club, when they bid 2-no, we have ways to, show different types of hands in these situations. So it's a little bit beyond the scope of our discussion here, but the key thing to recognize is four spades is not going to be a strong hand, right? If I had a strong hand with spades, I would bid three spades. Or if I play some sort of system, I would do whatever it is that shows a good hand. Okay, so in this spot, I can make a forcing bid by bidding three spades if I'm just playing a natural system. So four spades should be a hand like this, right? A hand that's kind of a closeout. They know partner opened the bidding. They clearly have a long spade suit, and they just want to bid four spades. In this auction, that should probably end things. North is going to pass. They're certainly not going to go to the 5 level on this hand. And East is going to pass, right? They actually might be tempted to bid, but the jump to four spades should kind of keep them from doing that. Partner can't have anything terrific, or they would have done something different to show a stronger hand. So here, it's okay to pass four spades. And now the South player has a tough choice, but take a look just at this hand, right? We are self-sufficient in the diamond suit, right? It's very unlikely we're going to lose a trick there, but we have nothing outside of this, right? We do have a void in the opponent's suit, which is really good. But take a look here. We have two losers here, potentially three losers here. So if we bid five diamonds and we actually realize all five of these losers, we're going to go down three. And guess what? If we bid five diamonds, do you think they're going to let us play undoubled? They're not going to, right? Or at least we would think that in this spot we would likely be doubled. So we probably don't want to risk going above four spades here, right? And we did show both of our suits. Partner did not take a call. So here we just have to pass. If you did bid five diamonds, you probably went down a few, or you should, right? In fact, if the opponents just start leading spades, eventually they can take control of this hand if you're not paying attention. So here, just past four spades, and no one's vulnerable on this hand, right? So this is one of those medium risk situations. And here's how you can try to remember the vulnerability in these spots when you're faced with these choices. If you're equal vulnerable, the most you can go down is two, okay? And if you are not vulnerable and they are, you can actually go down three. And if you are vulnerable and they aren't, you can only go down one. Okay, so it's kind of like a 1-2-3 situation. Equal vulnerable, down two is okay, down three is a disaster usually. And here it looks like you have potentially five losers outside of diamonds, so I would not risk going to the 5 level if I expected to lose that many tricks, because I very well may just be giving them the best score they can achieve by bidding. Stand is number 3. And I'm just going to sit in all the seats here just to kind of show you the full auction from every perspective. South is the dealer on this hand. We can see that here. And we have vulnerability being we are not vulnerable and they are. So this is a spot where even with this shape, and to be honest, especially because of this shape, I'm going to open 3 hearts. And it's the shape, it's the vulnerability. I might even consider, if my hearts were better, opening this hand 4 hearts in some situations because the shape is so terrific, right? You have 2 singletons, 7 hearts, and I know what you're saying. I don't have 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5. This is one of those close enough situations, especially considering the vulnerability, right? Always keep that in mind when you're preempting, right? This is a very favorable spot for us. We are not vulnerable. They are, right, as north-south here. So we are all systems go for a good preempt. And the question is, what do we do as the west player? And the answer is we pass, right? Our hand is an opening hand. However, 5 of those points are king-queen tight of hearts, right? King-queen doubleton. So pass is okay. And remember, this is a partnership game. So we know that they are preempting. Both of us should know this. And we should also respect from the other side of the table that in that direct chair where West is right now, they don't really have a lot of leeway, right? If they're going to be doubling or bidding, their hands are going to need to be really good. So the East hand is definitely going to take action here. And it's most likely just going to be the bid of 5 clubs, right? The East hand is not going to double. That would be takeout, but that would suggest the spade suit, right? And they certainly don't have that. If they wanted to make a try for both minors, they would bid 4-0, right? That would be a 2-suited takeout, right? But East is certainly bidding because what they can appreciate is partner has a lot of hands that they're certainly not going to be taking a call with. Now, North's 4 heart bid is obviously such a good preempt. as we know, but East doesn't know that, right? North could very simply be bidding four hearts, assuming they're making, right? So we don't want to go too crazy, but I think taking a call of five clubs here is pretty normal, right? With this sort of shape and this strength. We'll get past to West, and they would, consider kicking it into six. To be honest, right? With partner actually coming in freely at the five level at this vulnerability, right? The vulnerability certainly matters to East West also, because West knows that East just made a bid at the five level red white, right? The most dangerous vulnerability. So this is rarely going to be, hey, I'm taking a sacrifice. This is, hey, I probably have a good hand, right? So it would be very hard for West not to continue. But that's why preempting is such a good thing to get in the habit of doing in both seats, right? Making these situations tougher for your opponents is your job, right? So get in there with these hands that have lots of trumps. But really, if you played five clubs, you did quite well. You're going to make five or usually six. Yeah, the only thing that holds it to five, to be honest, is a spade lead, right? If they lead anything but a spade, you're just going to wrap six on this particular board, right? Because when they lead a heart, which is honestly, when they hear their partner raise, South is probably just going to lead the ace of hearts. And now we can't not make six, right? We're going to draw trump, and we're going to pitch away the six of spades on that king of hearts, making six. So board 12 is a very interesting board that I'm not sure everybody got right. I actually played this board today myself because I was filling in sitting east-west, and this was a pretty simple choice for me for the same reasons we saw in the last hand. I bid four spades. My partner opened a spade. My right hand opponent bid two hearts. And I have this hand. And here's the big win here. This is kind of a law of total tricks situation. In fact, it's not necessarily exactly that because we can't confirm the opponents have a fit, but it seems likely for sure. And we're just using this as a guideline for our preemptive bid here. And that's going to be four spades. And it's because I know we have 10 trump between the two hands. My partner opened a spade. And another massive bonus is this shortness in hearts, the only suit the opponents have showed so far. Right? So I fear in this situation that if I do anything less than jump here to game, the opponents are just going to have more room to discuss their exact right spot. And I'm taking very little risk because the vulnerability, again, is quite favorable for us, right? We are not vulnerable, they are. Right, so when my partner opens the bidding, I'm usually buying one of two types of hands from them, right? I'm buying a normal opening hand, which means their game possibilities skyrocket, right? If my partner has like a 12 or 13 count, my opponents have at least 25 points, right? So I shouldn't really be worried if my partner is weak. But if my partner is strong, I rate to do pretty well in four spades, especially if they don't have a lot of wasted values in hearts, right? So I would always be bidding four spades on this hand. And as we can see, we are probably going to make four spades if we play it carefully enough. We're definitely going to lose two club tricks, and we are going to lose a diamond trick. Luckily, the ace of diamonds is in the right position before the king here. And that should be about it, right? We're supposed to make four on this hand. And this is a great advertisement for that closeout bid, right? So we want to be aggressive with these big fits, these 10 card fits, especially when we have shortness. And it's even bigger when we have shortness in the suit that they are showing, right? So on this hand, we did buy a very good hand from partner, which is one of the possibilities we talked about. And on this hand, it should be pretty simple to make four. I knew we were going to have a lot of questions on this one. This is board number 16. And this auction starts with North, our partner on this hand, opening one diamond. And we wake up with this beautiful 20 count. And so immediately, we should all know we have slam. All right, so there are a lot of ways we can go about this. I prefer a slow approach if I can. And the slowest approach I can take is to attempt to game force at a low level. So here, I would be bidding two clubs, especially if I'm playing 2/1 as game forcing, which I think almost all of us are at this point. Two clubs is the best call because it immediately establishes that we have a game force, and now I can come back and support diamonds on my next bid. If you play inverted minor suit raises, that's a way to go also. But the issue with that is it's not technically game forcing right away. And my biggest fear always, and it's my biggest fear because I've seen it happen so many times, is to make a confusing bid or create a confusing auction for my partner and have them get it wrong and we pass below game, right? Or sign off at game when we should be in slam. I want to make things as clear as I can. So two clubs is very reasonable here. You're not going to get a ton of craziness on this hand, right? If you're probably going to bid two hearts, and we're going to mess around, but eventually we're going to have to get to a spot where we're either going to bid key card or just bid a slam. If we wanted to cut out all of the confusion, we can bid six no trump, right? Which, to be honest, is not unreasonable at all with this hand, right? It puts us in a slam that we are so likely to make based on the information we have that it's very low risk, right? You know that if your partner is just making a normal opening bid, every pair in the room is going to try to be in slam. In fact, I was surprised we had so few people bidding this slam. So in this case, we can bid a slam directly by bidding six no trump. You can also just bid four no trump. And my recommendation here is make an agreement with all your partners that if they open a suit or if they open and rebid a suit, the jump to four no trump directly after that bid is key card for that suit, right? So one diamond, four no trump should be understood to just be key card for diamonds. All right, simplify your lives. And when you have these big hands, what I really want you to have is very clear, direct decision making, right? Don't complicate your lives, is what I'm trying to say. Make it as simple and direct as you possibly can for your partner, right? Make forcing bids at the start if you need to, if you need more information. But in hands like this, it's okay to actually just place the contract or at least start a key card sequence if your confident partner will respond, right? The intricate auctions can be left up to the pros, right? We have obviously way more agreements in a lot of these situations than the common everyday duplicate player will have, right? Because we've had discussions and bid hundreds or thousands of hands with our partners to make sure we're getting all these spots right. So they may be able to find that random grand slam that you can't find yourself with this direct bidding sequence. However, if you're in six no trump making six or seven, you should usually be getting at least a slightly above average score, right? Because not everybody bids their slams. So be happy to be in a good slam and make it. So 20 is kind of a crazy hand, and I'm just going to jump in all the seats here and give you what could have transpired at each table. I think West has a clear-cut one club opening bid. You might have considered opening a diamond, so you had an easy two club rebid also, but I think most of us were just opening a club. North is going to pass, I hope, right? At these colors, vulnerable with this hand, I don't think you want to be bidding right away. And the only bid that really would make sense would be two spades. And it seems like the shape is there, right? But I don't know if we really want to jump in here, especially with partner not having taken a call yet. I think in these spots when your suit is so bad, passing is just a little better to start with and then see what happens, right? If that queen of hearts was in the spade suit instead, now maybe you're okay to take a better preempt here because you have a better suit. All right, so passing is reasonable if you're playing inverted minors, and if you're not, I would suggest you at least take a look at it. And there's a pretty decent lesson on my site, Learn Bridge NYC. If you go there and go to notes and videos, you'll find the lesson. But here, inverted minors is a huge win if you're playing it because that means three clubs is a weekend. Right? So the jump to three clubs here by East would be preemptive in nature, and it would show a hand like this: no four card major, a preemptive in nature hand like 4 to 7 ish, and at least 5 in the suit we're bidding. All right, so partner is just saying, look, I have a bad hand and I have a club fit. And now South should certainly be bidding, knowing that that is a preemptive bid. I'd love to be able to double with this hand, but it's confusing because we don't have the diamond suit. And if you haven't had a long discussion with your partner about this, you probably don't want to be doubling when you don't have one of the suits that they're going to think you have. So bidding three hearts is pretty reasonable. Big thing with this hand is that you really want to take action because you kind of know that it could go pass, and is partner going to bid? And when you have these values, it's hard not to get into this auction, especially considering right hand opponent just denied a 4 card major, and our left hand opponent opened a club, right? So it seems likely that our side has at least one or more of the major suits. So bidding 3 hearts here is just going to show, obviously a good hand, opening hand or better, and at least 5 hearts. I think West is maybe thinking about bidding 4 clubs. I wouldn't blame you if you did. And I would say that North would for sure bid 4 hearts. And this is a weird hand. We're going to get really high on an auction like this, and neither side has a terribly huge amount of points. But if you look at the hand record and just look at the hand itself, North South can make a slam in either hearts or spades, and that just shows you the power of shape on these hands. If you let them play 3 clubs, you missed out on a huge win for your side just by taking a call. And this is another one of those spots where they're going to be preempting like this. It's more important that we get in there because both of us aren't necessarily going to know at each point in the hand that we should be bidding. So if you have a good reason to bid, take it, and you will be rewarded on this hand. That north hand, when they hear partner bid hearts, has to be really happy, right? They're void in the opponent's best suit. They have 4 card trump support, and they have a potential source of tricks in spades. What a good hand. All right, let's take a look at the last board, which was 22. So the question is really, how do we bid the west hand? And we're going to start off with the east player just passing, and south is going to open a normal 1 diamond. And the question is, with the west hand, should we double and then bid, showing a much stronger hand, or can we just bid our spade suit? And I think with this hand, we're not quite to the level of doubling and then bidding again. Maybe if I had better cards in these 2 suits, because these are really ugly. Our shape is really nice, and our spade suit is amazing. But don't be, lured into that appeal of that spade suit. Some people just get they fall too in love with a particular suit and don't look at the rest of the values in their hand. So bidding 1 spade is very reasonable here. I think North has a clear pass, obviously. And East does as well, by the way. East is certainly going to pass. You might have considered raising to 2 spades, but you don't want to convince partner you have anything good, right? You do have support, and that will make partner very happy if you get to be the dummy. But look at your shape, 4, triple 3, and it's just an ugly hand, so you certainly don't want to convince partner that you have something good. And the best bid by South is double, okay? We have a very perfect shape for a takeout double, and that's exactly what this would be. And also, anytime you are short in the opponent's suit, right? So your left-hand opponent overcalls and it goes pass back to you. Anytime you're short in that suit and you plan to take action, don't forget to double. Double is always right, especially when you're short in that suit, because what if our partner is sitting behind that 1 spade bidder with a whole stack of spades? We want to give him a chance to actually pass this out. This should not deter West. The reason we start with 1 spade with a hand like this is that we're very likely to get a bid again, and we just plan to rebid our suit at any level. That's how good our hand is, right? And our partner should realize this. When we start rebidding our suit after overcalling, they're going to know we have either a lot of extra shape or a lot of extra values, right? So again, it's going to go pass. After we've already balanced with a double, seen the 2 spade bid, and North still passed, as the South player, you're just going to say, okay, I've done enough, right? I've actually opened the bidding and then forced my partner to bid again, and they still didn't want to get into the action. I'm out. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and thanks for joining me on Thursday mornings. We had a great turnout this morning, 11 tables, and we still were missing a few of our regulars. So I think this game can be a really big game, lots more master points to be had on Thursday morning, and hopefully lots more experience playing some of these tough hands and taking a look at the action afterwards. So I just want to end by saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We will not have a regularly scheduled lesson or game schedule. In fact, no Wednesday lessons, no Thursday game for me next week. And I'll see you at the tables, and I'll see the rest of you 2 weeks from today. Take care, everybody. Have a great, happy, and safe holiday.